There are moments in life when the body begins to whisper things the spirit already knows. You start to feel aches that don't quite make sense. You go to the doctor and they say everything looks fine, but inside you know something is stirring. It's not just muscle tension and it's not just stress. It's as if your body is reacting to something deeper. And it is. Oh yes, it is. It's responding to the voice of God, calling you higher. You see, divine discomfort is not something you can explain with logic. It's not the result of poor posture or too much screen time. No, this kind of discomfort comes when the Spirit of God is trying to get your attention. He doesn't always shout. Sometimes he whispers. And when you don't hear the whisper, he nudges you. And if you still don't hear, sometimes he allows pain, just enough to wake you up from spiritual sleep. This pain isn't here to break you, it's here to mold you. The calling of God is not light, it is weighty. And when heaven places a calling on your life, that calling begins to press on you long before the world ever sees your anointing. There's a stretching, there's a pulling, there's a sacred discomfort that begins to move through your chest, your back, your neck, not to harm you, but to tell you something is shifting, something is beginning, something holy is trying to be born through you. Some of you have been feeling exhausted, not because you've done too much, but because your spirit has been wrestling with the weight of destiny. You are not like everyone else, and that is why your pain feels different. What others can shake off in a day lingers in you for weeks. What others can ignore, you carry. You carry the ache of brokenness that doesn't even belong to you. Because you are chosen to be a vessel of healing. You feel heavy, not because you're weak, but because you're sensitive to the Spirit of God. He made you that way. He formed you in the secret place, and in that place, he poured into you a burden that this world cannot understand. You can't shake this ache, because it's not just physical, it's divine. It's a calling wrapped in pain. It's purpose pressing its way through your bones, demanding your attention. God is not punishing you, he is positioning you. Oh, hear me now, beloved. He is positioning you for something that only you can do. And before you step into it, he needs you to feel it. He needs you to be aware, to be alert, to be sensitive. That ache in your body is the Spirit stirring the waters of your soul. God never calls someone without first consecrating them. And consecration, my friend, is never comfortable. It's the place where you start to feel a little out of place, where the music you used to enjoy doesn't move you anymore, where the conversations feel hollow, where the environments you once loved now leave you feeling drained. Your body reacts, your spirit groans. You can't explain it, but you know something inside of you is being reordered, and that reordering often comes with growing pains. When a seed begins to sprout, it breaks. The shell doesn't peel off gently. It cracks open, it splits. That pain is the sign that something is growing. And the same is true for you. The ache you feel is not a sign of death. It's a sign of life. It's the evidence that God is moving within you, preparing to release something through you that will change the lives of others. And sometimes the pain is concentrated in one area. Your chest tightens when you walk into certain places. Your head aches when you engage in meaningless talk. Your back stiffens when you carry conversations you no longer belong in. That's not coincidence. That's conviction. That's the Spirit's way of reminding you that you were never created to fit in. You were created to stand out. You were made for more. You were set apart. When you are God's chosen one, even your nerves begin to react to what is no longer aligned with your assignment. Your body begins to reject what your spirit has outgrown. Don't ignore that pain. Don't numb it away. Don't silence it with distractions. Listen, because God is speaking through it. And what he's saying is simple. I'm calling you. You've been marked. You've been set apart. And this pain is not here to destroy you. It's here to alert you. He's trying to get your attention, beloved. Because the next chapter of your life requires your full surrender. And before you can step into the promise, you must respond to the process. This pain is not random. It's divine discomfort. Heaven is whispering your name. There's something about the chosen ones, the ones set apart, that can never be understood by the world around them. You know, we often talk about spiritual warfare as something abstract, something that only happens in the unseen realm. But let me tell you, What happens in the spiritual world has a direct impact on our physical bodies. It manifests in ways we don't always understand, and when you are marked for greatness, you become a target. The enemy doesn't just attack your mind, he attacks your body, your emotions, and everything that could weaken you. And this attack, it's not without reason, it's not random, it is strategic. There's an old saying, if you don't feel the heat, you're not in the kitchen. But when you're walking in the calling of God, you should expect the heat. In fact, the heat of spiritual warfare is sometimes more intense than anything you could have imagined. And while you may not always recognize it for what it is, your body certainly will. You'll feel it in the tension in your neck, the sudden headaches, the tightness in your chest, or the knot in your stomach. This is not just stress. It's the manifestation of a battle taking place in the invisible realm. A battle that is specifically aimed at stopping you from fulfilling your divine purpose. Understand this, beloved, the enemy does not care about your comfort. He cares about stopping the plans of God from being fulfilled in your life. And when God has chosen you, when he has set his hand upon you, the enemy will do everything in his power to break your spirit, your mind, and yes, even your body. But don't mistake this for defeat. This is simply the evidence that you are a threat to the enemy's kingdom. That should make you stand a little taller, walk a little bolder. Because if you're feeling the pressure, it's because you're advancing towards something mighty. And the enemy only pushes back against what he fears. Sometimes the attack comes in the form of physical pain. You might notice that when you're about to step into a new phase of your calling, when God is calling you higher, your body begins to react. You might experience sudden fatigue, unexplained aches, or a heaviness in your chest, as if you've been carrying something too big for you to bear. This pain is not just a coincidence. It is the result of the enemy trying to drain you, trying to distract you, and trying to make you believe you cannot fulfill what God has set before you. When you are walking in God's plan for your life, the enemy can't just stay in the shadows. He comes after you in ways you can feel, ways you can't ignore. Because he knows the potential within you. He knows what will happen when you fully surrender, when you fully step into what God has designed for you. The enemy tries to break your confidence, shake your foundation, and put fear in your heart. And that fear often comes in the form of bodily discomfort. It's the stress you feel before making an important decision, the uncertainty that causes your muscles to tense, the anxiety that brings on migraines. But here's the truth. The closer you get to your divine destiny, the more you'll feel the weight of spiritual warfare. But do not be discouraged. Pain is often the signature of progress. You see, it's not the battles we face that determine who we are, it's how we rise from them. It's how we push through when the pain seems unbearable. And for the chosen ones, the pain doesn't just come from the enemy's attacks, it's also a sign of transformation. When God calls you, he doesn't just call you to stand still, he calls you to move forward. And as you do, there's resistance. That resistance brings pain, but it also brings growth. It refines you. It sharpens you. It builds a strength in you that the enemy never saw coming. I want to remind you today that God is not unaware of what you're going through. He is not blind to the pain in your body, the heaviness in your heart, or the constant struggle that feels like it's breaking you down. But understand that this is part of the process. Every battle, every attack, every moment of discomfort is leading you to a place where you can walk in the fullness of what God has planned for you. These moments of physical pain, when they come from spiritual warfare, are just reminders that you are right where you need to be. You are being stretched, tested, and molded into something extraordinary. And when you feel that weight pressing on you, when you feel the tension, the fatigue, the pain that comes from the spiritual battle you are in, don't be discouraged. Don't think for a second that it means you're losing. It means you're winning. It means the enemy is afraid of the power you are about to walk in. He's afraid of the doors that are opening for you. He's afraid of the breakthrough that is on the horizon. So, when you feel your body reacting to the spiritual warfare around you, remember this. It's a sign you're on the right path. It's proof that God is with you, and he is using even this struggle to shape you into the person he has destined you to be. Keep going. Keep pushing forward. You are not fighting this battle alone. When God places a divine purpose on your life, He doesn't just call you to live a comfortable, predictable existence. No, beloved, the call of God often comes with a weight that you feel in your body. You can't escape it. You can't ignore it. It shows up in your shoulders, in your back, in the very core of your being. It's a weight that presses on you, and it's a sign that you are carrying something extraordinary, something that requires more from you than you could have ever imagined. You see, when God has called you to fulfill a great purpose, the process of carrying that purpose can be difficult. It requires stamina, it requires strength, and it requires sacrifice. It's not always glamorous. It doesn't always feel easy. In fact, there are moments when it feels downright impossible. But that heaviness, that pressure you feel in your body, is a reminder that you are being prepared for something far greater than what you've known before. Have you ever noticed how your body reacts when you're called to something bigger than yourself? Have you felt your back aching when you're trying to bear the weight of responsibility? Have you felt that tension in your shoulders when you're carrying burdens that don't belong to you, but you just can't seem to let them go? That pressure, my dear friend, is a part of the divine calling you've been given. It's a sign that God is preparing you for something that requires endurance, perseverance, and a willingness to carry what others might not be able to bear. When God calls you, He doesn't just call you to step into something small. He calls you to step into His greatness. He calls you to carry the weight of His glory, to be a vessel through which His power and love flow into the world. And when you carry that kind of weight, it affects every part of you, physically, emotionally, and spiritually. Your body becomes a temple that must be prepared to hold the glory of God. And in that process, you feel the weight of the calling pressing against you, sometimes in ways that leave you feeling exhausted, overwhelmed, and even broken. But let me tell you something, beloved, that weight is not a curse, it's a blessing. It's a sign that God trusts you with something precious. And yes, it can be hard. Yes, it can feel like it's too much, but God will never give you more than you can bear. The weight you are carrying right now is part of the process that will bring you into the fullness of what God has for you. The Apostle Paul said it so beautifully. We are pressed on every side, but not crushed. Perplexed, but not in despair. Persecuted, but not abandoned. Struck down, but not destroyed. 2 Corinthians 4:8-9. This is what it means to carry the weight of God's purpose. It's not always easy. It's not always comfortable, but it's never without purpose. Every moment of discomfort, every ache, every burden is a part of your divine preparation. God is using it to strengthen you, to build your character, to prepare you for the work He has set before you. The weight you feel in your body is not meant to break you. It is meant to shape you. It's meant to refine you. And yes, it will require you to lean into God's strength, to rely on His grace, to surrender your will and your understanding to His divine plan. But every ounce of pressure, every moment of tension is making you stronger. It's making you more resilient. It's making you more equipped for the incredible purpose God has in store for you. And let me tell you this, beloved, the heaviness you're feeling is a sign that God is trusting you with more. He is trusting you to carry His anointing, His power, and His love into places that desperately need it. When you're chosen by God, He doesn't just call you to stand on the sidelines. He calls you to be a vessel of transformation, to be a change agent in the world around you. And that requires strength. It requires endurance. It requires the willingness to bear the weight of the calling. Now, I know that sometimes it feels like too much. I know that sometimes it feels like you can't keep going, like you just want to put the burden down and walk away. But God is not asking you to carry it alone. He is right there with you, strengthening you, sustaining you, and giving you the power to keep moving forward. When you feel like you're at your breaking point, remember this: God's strength is made perfect in your weakness. He is your help in times of trouble. He is the one who will lift you up when you feel like you can't stand any longer. The weight of your calling is a sign that you are in the process of being transformed. And when the time comes, when you step fully into the destiny God has prepared for you, you will look back at this moment and realize that the weight you carried was never a burden. It was a blessing. It was the very thing that prepared you for the greatness you are about to walk in. So don't despise the heaviness you feel. Don't resent the pressure you're under. Embrace it, trust in it, because that weight is making you into the person you are always meant to be. And when God has finished his work in you, you will stand taller, stronger, and more ready than you've ever been to carry the purpose he's placed on your life. Have you ever felt something deep inside of you? This ache, this pull that you can't quite explain. It's like a yearning that stirs your heart, a longing that seems to speak louder than your own thoughts. It's as though your heart is not just beating, but it's aching with a purpose, with a desire that goes beyond the surface. When you're chosen by God, your heart feels more deeply than the world can comprehend. It's as though you are called to carry the burdens of others, to pray for those who can't pray for themselves, to love those who feel unlovable. That is the gift and the weight of being God's chosen one. When your heart begins to feel things others cannot, when your chest tightens with empathy, when you cry out in prayer for someone you've never met, that's not just emotional sensitivity, it's a spiritual calling. You see, God doesn't just bless you with a purpose and leave you unprepared for what that purpose requires. He sharpens you, and he sharpens you through the deepest places of your soul, your heart. And when you're chosen, your heart will be affected in ways that you might not always understand. You will feel the pain of others in your own body. You will carry their sorrow, their grief, their struggles, and it will break you down only to build you back up again in his image. It's not uncommon for people who are walking in God's purpose to experience a kind of heartache that doesn't make sense. You may notice that your chest tightens when you're in certain situations, when you're praying for certain people, or even when you're just thinking about a particular circumstance. And that pressure, that burden, is the weight of intercession. You are being called to carry others' burdens to the throne of grace. That ache in your chest is God's way of reminding you that you are not living for yourself. You are living for something far greater than what your own eyes can see. Your heart feels deeply because it is a reflection of the heart of God. He feels the sorrow of his people. He sees the brokenness of the world, and he has chosen you to be his vassal of compassion, mercy, and grace. He has given you a heart that can withstand the pain of others, a heart that beats with love, even when it feels like there's no reason to love. You may not always understand why your heart is breaking, or why you feel this deep, almost unbearable sorrow for others. But trust this, it's because God is using you to carry a portion of his heart. You are learning to feel with him, to love with him, and to pray with him. But it's not just the sorrow of others that weighs heavy on your heart. Sometimes it's your own heart that aches. Sometimes you will feel the pressure of your own desires, your own dreams, your own longing for something more. Your heart will ache for the things you know you're meant to do, for the places you know you're meant to go. And in those moments, when your heart feels like it's going to burst from the intensity of longing, remember this. That ache is the evidence that God is working in you, that he is stirring up the passion and the desire for his purpose. He is not trying to break you with your own desires. He is using them to refine you, to shape you into the person who can fulfill his calling. It is in the tension between your desires and God's desires for you that you are shaped. And in those moments of heartache, when you feel like you're being pulled in two different directions, God is doing something powerful within you. He is teaching you how to surrender. He is teaching you how to let go of your own will and embrace his. And it's in that surrender that you find true peace, true joy, and the fulfillment of the purpose he has for you. But you see, it's not just the sorrow or the longing that weighs on your heart. There is also the joy of knowing that God is using you for something bigger than yourself. There is joy in the ache of intercession. There is joy in knowing that your heart is aligned with God's heart, that he has chosen you to be a vessel of his love and his power in the world. And when you feel that joy, when your heart is so full of love for others that it feels like it could burst, that is the evidence of God's presence in your life. That is the evidence that you are walking in your divine calling, that you are walking in his purpose for you. But it can be difficult, can't it? It can be hard to carry that heartache. It can be painful to feel so deeply for the world around you, to carry the weight of the world on your shoulders. But let me remind you of something. You were never meant to carry it alone. God is with you every step of the way. He is the one who strengthens you when you feel weak. He is the one who fills your heart with his love when it feels empty. And when you feel that ache, remember that it is not a sign of defeat. It is a sign of divine alignment. It is a sign that your heart is in tune with God's heart, that he is working in you, through you, and for you. So if you're feeling that deep ache in your chest today, if your heart is heavy with the weight of the world around you, know this: it is not a sign that you are broken. It is a sign that you are chosen. It is a sign that God is using you to carry his love, his mercy, and his grace into the world. And when you feel that ache, know that you are not alone. God is with you, and he will use that ache to make you into the person he has called you to be. When God chooses you, when he places his hand upon your life, something beautiful happens. You begin to sense a shift. It's as though the atmosphere around you changes. It's not just the world that reacts to your calling, your very body begins to respond. Have you ever experienced a moment when everything in your life seemed to align, but your body felt like it was suddenly working against you? Maybe you felt a rush of energy one moment, and then an overwhelming sense of exhaustion the next. Or perhaps you've experienced sudden bursts of creativity and insight, followed by periods of deep fatigue and weariness. That, my friend, is the battle. It's the physical manifestation of the divine work that is taking place within you. You see, when God places his purpose on your life, it's not always an easy road. There are moments when the weight of his calling is too much to bear. You will face challenges that you never expected. The journey will be long, and it will stretch you in ways you didn't think possible. And sometimes your body will react to this divine calling in ways you don't understand. You might feel overwhelmed, as if you can't take another step. You might feel completely drained, like you've given everything you have, but there's still so much more to do. But I want to encourage you today, this is not a sign of failure. It's a sign that you are being transformed. It's a sign that you are being prepared for the extraordinary purpose that God has for you. I want you to think for a moment about the seasons of life you've walked through. I want you to reflect on the times when you've felt the most physically exhausted, when your body seemed to scream for rest and yet you kept moving forward. During those moments, you may have felt disconnected, as if your body wasn't keeping up with the call on your life. You may have questioned whether you could really continue on this journey. But let me tell you something. God is using those moments to build you. He is using those times of weariness to stretch your faith, to deepen your resolve, and to equip you for the work that lies ahead. This is what happens when you are walking in the divine purpose of God. You experience a shift in both your physical and spiritual life. The enemy knows the power you carry, and he will do everything he can to distract, discourage, and wear you down. He will target your body, your mind, and your spirit in an attempt to stop you from fulfilling God's will. But God has equipped you for this moment. He has placed a strength inside of you that you may not even recognize yet. When you feel physically drained, when you feel like you can't go on another minute, that is often when God is closest to you, carrying you, empowering you to keep going. His strength, his power is made perfect in your weakness. And when you feel like you're at your breaking point, you're actually standing at the threshold of your breakthrough. The enemy wants you to believe that physical exhaustion is a sign that you're not up for the task. He wants you to feel discouraged, like you're too weak to carry the call on your life. But that is a lie. The truth is, your body may be exhausted, but your spirit is being renewed. You might feel weary, but your soul is being strengthened. Every step you take in faith, every moment you continue forward despite the physical weariness, you are growing stronger. You are being refined. You are being prepared for greater things. And God is right there with you, empowering you every step of the way. There are moments when you will feel like you're fighting an uphill battle, when the physical fatigue seems almost unbearable. It's in those moments that you must remind yourself that God has not abandoned you. He is with you in the struggle. He is with you in the weariness. And He is the one who will renew your strength when you feel like you can't take another step. It's in those moments of exhaustion that God's grace becomes more evident than ever. His grace carries you when you can no longer carry yourself. Remember, your body is a temple, and God is preparing it to house His glory. And the process of preparation is not always easy. It requires endurance. It requires perseverance. It requires you to push through the moments of physical and emotional fatigue and to trust that God is using every moment, every ounce of energy to refine you. The physical pain you may feel as you carry the weight of your calling is not a curse. It's a sign that you are growing, that you are being stretched to accommodate the greatness that God has in store for you. He is making you into a vessel of honor, one that can carry His power and His love into the world. When you feel the weight of exhaustion, don't give in to discouragement. Instead, press into God. Seek His strength. Ask Him to renew your energy, to renew your focus, and to give you the courage to keep moving forward. The road may be long, and the journey may be challenging, but know that every step you take is a step closer to the purpose God has for you. Every moment of physical weariness is a step closer to spiritual growth, to deeper intimacy with God, and to fulfilling the unique calling He has placed on your life. So, when you feel physically exhausted, when your body seems to fight against you, know that you are not alone. God is with you, and He will give you the strength you need to continue. You may feel weak, but in Him you are strong. You may feel tired, but He will renew your strength. Keep going, because the journey you are on is leading you to something far greater than you can imagine. You are not alone in your weariness. You are being prepared for something extraordinary. Keep moving forward, because your purpose is worth every step. Have you ever found yourself in the midst of a deep, unsettling feeling in your body that you couldn't explain? A kind of restlessness or tension that stirs deep within your being, especially when you're in a place of waiting or uncertainty? It's a physical discomfort, but it's not just about the body. It goes deeper. This is the very moment when God's calling becomes so real, so present, that it physically manifests in your life. It can be an anxious stirring in your stomach, a nervousness that keeps you awake at night, or an unease in your chest that seems to grow when you're close to fulfilling His will. It's not just a random discomfort. It's a signal from God that you're right where you need to be, even though you may not yet see it. When you are walking in the purpose God has for you, there will be moments of deep tension. You might find yourself in a place where everything in your life feels like it's pulling in opposite directions. Your dreams, your desires, and your calling are all at odds. You feel the weight of this tension in your body, the pressure of being pulled towards something you don't fully understand. You might feel physically restless, constantly moving from one place to another, mentally pacing back and forth. It's as though your spirit is trying to reconcile the divine call on your life with the natural limitations of this world. But let me tell you something, my friend. That tension is a sign that you're on the brink of a breakthrough. It is a sign that you are closer to fulfilling God's purpose than you may even realize. God never leaves you without guidance, and when you're called to something great, He stirs you into motion. He begins to speak to your spirit in ways that you can't quite grasp, and it begins to feel like an internal battle, a battle of your own will versus His will. You want to rest, but your spirit is restless. You want to stay in your comfort zone, but something inside urges you to move, to act, to rise above what is familiar and step into the unknown. It's important to recognize that this tension isn't a bad thing. It's a holy thing. It is the physical manifestation of God's working in your life. He is calling you into action, and in those moments of discomfort, He is preparing you for something greater. He's shaping you, stretching you, and equipping you to fulfill the unique role He has planned for you. Sometimes we think that if we feel discomfort, if we feel unease in our bodies, it must be a sign that we are out of alignment with God's plan. But the truth is, discomfort is often the evidence that you are exactly where God wants you to be. You see, the tension you feel isn't a sign that you should back away from God's calling. It's a sign that you are stepping into His purpose. Think of it like a bowstring being drawn back before the arrow is released. The tension builds, and it feels like something is being pulled to its limit, but it is in that tension that the arrow gains its strength and direction. You are that arrow. God is pulling you back, preparing you, and when the moment comes, He will release you to go forth into the world with a strength and a purpose that you never could have imagined. It's important, though, to recognize that this feeling of tension isn't something you're meant to ignore or fight against. Instead, embrace it. Let it remind you that you are a vessel of God's power. Allow the discomfort to fuel your faith, to ignite your trust in His timing, and to propel you forward into the next season of your life. It's in those moments of tension that your faith is stretched, that you are refined, and that you begin to step more fully into the person you are called to be. You may experience this tension physically when you're in prayer, when you're fasting, or when you're in worship. It may show up in your body as a kind of nervous energy, a feeling that can't quite be calmed. You may feel anxious, restless, or even overwhelmed. But it's not because God has abandoned you. On the contrary, it's a sign that He is getting you ready. This is His way of stirring your spirit to greater heights. This is how He calls you into deeper levels of commitment, deeper levels of obedience, and deeper levels of trust. And while the tension might feel uncomfortable, it's in those moments of unease that God is drawing out the greatness within you. As you continue to lean into this tension, know that it's not a sign of failure or a warning that you're heading in the wrong direction. It is God's confirmation that you are moving closer to your divine purpose. The tension is God refining you, shaping you, and getting you ready for what He has planned next. It's in the moments of waiting, when you feel most uncomfortable, that God is often doing His greatest work in you. He is preparing you to receive the fullness of His calling. When you feel this tension in your body, when you feel that restlessness, take a deep breath. Remember that God has not left you. He is not punishing you. He is preparing you. This is a holy moment. This is a moment when you can say, God, I trust you. I know that this tension means I'm moving closer to what you've called me to do. It's an invitation to trust, to lean in, and to surrender. As you surrender, you will find that the tension begins to ease. The restlessness will give way to a deep sense of peace, knowing that you are on the right path and that God is with you every step of the way. So the next time you feel that tension, don't fight it. Don't try to push it away. Instead, recognize it for what it is. A sign that God is calling you to rise, to move forward, and to step into the fullness of His plan for your life. The discomfort you feel is a reminder that you are being made ready for something extraordinary. You are on the brink of something big, and God is right there with you, preparing you for the moment when you will be released to fulfill your calling with power and purpose.